With website-garden.com, I get all my SEO blogging done in just minutes per week.
Hello, this is Neil Walters with website-garden.com. In this video, I want to talk to you about our AI blogging facilities. We actually have right now 3 types of AI blogs. And so let's talk about it. The first one is over here in our menu, just called AI blog. And I'm going to collapse that menu so we get a little more screen real estate here. So here it's called auto replenish. And what that is that we have a flag that you can set on your domain or your website that says, I want to blog there every so many days. So let me show you what that looks like. So here I pulled up this blog. This is the name of my domain. And we have this kind of a fancy domain editor here where you can set your host of your domain, your registrar, and we sync with GoDaddy and with other registrars like NameSilo and Namecheap, and we pull that information into our system as well. So you can even see your name servers here. And you can set your PBN tier number. For example, if this is a tier 2 site, maybe it points to a tier 1 site, which points to what we call your money site or something like that. You can also set up a group of sites, like if you have a bunch of sites around Hebrew or Bitcoin or real estate or whatever, you can put your websites into groups, but that's not the point of this video. So let me get back on topic here. There's a checkbox that says here it is a PBN, and we can use that later to filter on your website. Down here, we have your content management system, which right now we support WordPress and for AI blogging. And then you have to have your username and really your REST API passwords. You have to enable the REST API on your WordPress site. That's really easy to do with Easy Blog Network, by the way. And if you don't know what Easy Blog Network is, it's a website where they will host like all of your PBNs for you, and you pay a much probably lower fee than what you'd pay otherwise. And they actually scatter them around on different servers, different IP addresses, different everything. So that way it doesn't have a signature like they're all coming from one hosting company. So it's a really good company. I've been with them probably 10 years now, and I'm really impressed with them. So there'll be a link below the video if you want to see more about that. And I'll probably do my own video on it here as soon as I can get to it. Login Secret Key, by the way, is a special plugin we have for WordPress that allows you to log on from our website straight into your WordPress site. And then here's the number we were talking about. It's called the minimum number of days without a auto blog. So I've set this to 45. So in other words, I have had several PBN sites that have had no blogs at all for like 7, 8, 9 years, which is horrible. And again, I built this system for me, and now I'm thinking there's a lot of people that could benefit from it, especially if you're a SEO type agency or you're doing SEO on your own websites. You have your own PBNs, which again is private blog network, where you have a bunch of websites that you use to flow link juice from other places to your money sites or your websites, your links. And so you want to have some continuity on those websites. You don't want Google to think they're dead. So you can, with this, you could blog every 5 days, every 60 days. I chose 45. I figured just slightly longer than a month would be good. Okay. So I've set that number there. And then basically it will create that blog for you. Now this is the lowest quality of AI blog. And why do I say that? Because it's going to use the categories on your websites, and it's automatically going to choose the topic and then just write the blog. So we'll show you in a minute other types of blogs where you can choose the topic, you can choose the picture and everything. So this blog here was AI generated, but it had no picture, but it was one of those replenish type things to make sure my website didn't look totally dead. Okay. So now if we go back to our main page here, let's say we want to add an AI blog. So we click that. You're going to pick your website from the list, and then you're going to give it a blog title. So you can say home financing for young couples or whatever you want to pick. You can say, I want to publish it on today, or you can say December 20th, whatever. You pick your own date. Now, we actually combine several of these fields together to make the AI prompt. This is what your blog topic is, but we also say, who's your target audience? Because a lot of people don't know how to write prompts, right? So you say, my target audience is first-time young home buyers or whatever. And your role would be as a professional real estate advisor, coach, or whatever, or realtor, that type of thing you put in there. Then we have your image prompt. So you can say, I want a picture of a young couple looking at a $200,000 home in Dallas, Texas, with the sun setting in the background, whatever. You just put it wherever you want in there and it will create the picture for you. We give it a range of words. This is just kind of a best guess, right? Sometimes the AIs don't actually honor the number of words very well, I found out. So it's kind of a range. Then you can have your image inline, or it can be a feature image, and you can actually give it the image name. So if you want to say like young couple looking at Dallas real estate, you can that way you can put keywords into your pictures as well. You can have your picture square or wider than tall, and then you can give it your picture width over here. And then basically just click save, and that's going to save it in our database. And then we have these jobs that run all day long looking for things to do, and they'll come in here and pick this up. That's why this is listed over here in our menu under what we call batch request. Let me close that just a second, go back to the menu. So these are the things that run in the background or in batch mode, okay? And so that blog will get picked up, it will create it for you. And even if you say publish it on December 20th, which is say 3 months from now, it will go ahead and create the blog today, post it to WordPress, and it will set the little flag in WordPress that says, make this blog visible on December 20th. Okay, so you can always go to WordPress then and you can change that to whatever date you want. So that is when you create your own type of blog. And in that case, you're choosing your own title, your own picture, much more control over what you put in your blog. The third type of blog we have is called auto suggest. And so when you come here, you're going to click this and you're going to give it, again, your website, which you're going to pick from a list. You give it your target audience. And again, you can say as a professional plumber or as a real estate broker or whatever. And then you can say here, use these different things to make up the title. So what we're going to do is we're going to call ChatGPT for you. And we're going to say, give us blog titles based on these things. So we go sniff your website, for example, and we look at the other blogs you've already written. We look at the categories on your website. We look at the About Us page and even the topics, okay? And we use all that to determine, or what AI uses that to determine what to suggest. And then on top of that, you give it how many blogs you want. Do you want 2 or 3, or do you want 107 or whatever? You can choose that. You can say I want to blog every day or every 5 days or some random number between 10 and 30 days. Okay, so if you set up here, I want 11 blogs every 10 to 30 days, that's almost, well, it could be, I guess on the average, it'd be every 20 days. So that would be like half a year's of content for you right there. And it's just like you've done it in minutes versus having to do it manually like we did in the old days, right? Now, in this case, it will automatically pick the image for you. You lose control over the image, but it will create an image for you. You can set the size of the image, and you can tell it when to start these blogs. That, you know, you might want to not start till January 1st next year, and then again where the images are inline or not. Now, when you click that, it's going to give you a list of the blogs that it came up with, the suggested blogs, and you're going to briefly look at them. Most of the time, I just accept them, but you can say, "Oh, that's a horrible title. I don't want that one." So you can kick some out and accept all the others, or you can just click accept all. And then again, they're going to go into our database, and when our AI programs run offline, basically in the batch mode, they will come in and create all that content for you. Let me give you an example of a website I did this for. Somehow this website got trashed or lost or whatever. I had to totally rebuild it. So it's a kind of a low quality PBN I had. And normally when you have a website like this, you want to make it look like a real website. Like you want to have a picture of Tim, and you want to have an About Us page that says, "Hi, I'm Tim Jones from Dallas," or whatever, and I help young couples buy their first home or get their first mortgage or whatever, right? So, and just by the way, we are working on something now where we're going to have freelancers available for you to do that kind of grunt work if you don't want to do it. And then the second thing we're going to have is gigs, kind of like Fiverr, where basically our freelancers can put in there, we will make your website look more real, or we will do SEO research for your website, or we will give you 10 backlinks to your website from a domain authority of 10 or whatever. So all this type of SEO stuff, or they can actually just do WordPress stuff for you. They can install a backup software for you or something like that. So that's the worker features we have coming, but that's for a whole nother video. Can't cover that today, okay? So this website, my categories were, let me read them real quick: condominiums, country living, downtown and urban living, first-time home buyers, home inspections when buying, mortgage approval, off-grid living, and suburban living. I made those personally by going into the WordPress site and just adding those categories. Then I went to my auto suggest facility and I said, okay, use those categories to create blogs. So now if we look at all these blogs here, it says preparing for your first home, preparing for your home inspection. We'll see one of my categories is here is home inspections when buying. And then we look at the next blog. It says the hidden beauty of suburban life. And I think, sometimes you can kind of tell these are ChatGPT pictures because of the kind of the shading and stuff, but I think they're still pretty cool. So one of my categories was something about urban living. The next blog, and some of them, they actually put nice little numbers in here because people like to read numbered list or whatever. And if you're writing your own blog, you can tell it to say, create 5 reasons why people want to live in Dallas or whatever. Your first home, how much can you truly afford? Suburban living versus downtown living. All this was created by me and the AI basically in just a matter of minutes, and then it went off and did it and populated the site. And then I think I did stage them to be released every 3 or 5 days or something. But by now I think most of them have actually been posted. There may be a few that have not been posted yet. Here's one, negotiating the best price for your first home, etc., etc. Okay, so let's go back to topic here. So that was the auto suggest. So I think we're about to wrap this up. Let me just recap. So we have AI blog, where you type in the name of the blog you want and kind of give it a hint as to what the content of that blog should be. We have auto suggest, which is when you want to create, say, 10, 20, or 100 blogs on one given website. And we use the categories, the About Us page, that type of thing. And then we have the replenish feature, which is not actually on this menu. To do that, you go to the domain itself and you say, never let this website go more than 45 days or 60 days, whatever, without having a blog. And then it'll just create a text blog, no picture, and it'll put it on your website. The AI blog blockers we can talk about later. That means you can only do this on websites where you have your credentials entered. Has to be WordPress for now. Now, one thing I've been thinking about lately is right now I don't have any keyword stuffing or keyword features into the blogging tools, okay? So in the future, I might want to say, create a blog that uses words, semantic keywords related to this topic or whatever. It kind of does that on its own, but I might want to fine tune that a little bit. And then again, if you're running a PBN, a private blog network, you want to create a link in your blog to one of your other websites. I think I want to add that feature too, where you could say, put this link in the blog and then use this for the wording of that link. And that would be another valued feature for PBN guys. Now, somewhere else in this tool, which we'll get to in another video, we do crawl all of your websites and we can show you your cross references or your links from one of your sites to another. Unfortunately, we're not Ahrefs or anything like that. We can't crawl the whole web, but we can crawl your sites and we can give you information as to like when you posted links from one of your sites to another. You can also enter your clients' websites on here. So if you're an SEO agency, you can have all your PBNs and then you can have like your 10 client websites. And then we would also cross-reference those for you. So there's so much this tool can do. And the blogging does require, like I said, a certain number of credits, and we have different plans for different size companies. So you could start small or work your way up, and you can also buy credits if you want more. So that's all available. And so again, this is website-garden.com. I chose that name because it's like you have a bunch of websites and you want to make them grow, or you want to make your main website grow, and you use these other websites to help you do that. So this whole thing is about monitoring your websites, making sure they're active and that Google likes them and that they're growing constantly and that they're always up and running, they're not down, and that nobody hacked them, that type of thing. That's what the power of website-garden is. So check us out and I'll see you in the next video.
My fellow cats and I used to get paid good money to write blogs, but now I just sit here and manage hundreds of blog sites on autopilot.